Hello students, I am preparing this particular video as per the request of the students so that they can get benefit from this particular video for their coming board exams. Now let me start with the chapter 2, Theory of Consumer Behavior, which comes under microeconomics. In this chapter, we will learn about the behavior of an individual consumer. Since we are in the microeconomic chapters, under microeconomics, we are studying about an individual consumer or individual units. Therefore, let us begin this particular chapter by studying the behavior of an individual consumer. What we are studying under this particular chapter? We are studying how the individual consumer wants to get maximum satisfaction. How he will decide? What are the factors responsible for giving maximum satisfaction for a consumer? As you have already learned in the previous chapter, human wants are unlimited, whereas the resources are limited in nature, and these limited resources can be used for different uses. So there exists a problem of choice. So individual consumer has to decide, depending upon his or her income, how to spend that income on different goods. So economists call this as the problem of choice. You know that naturally any consumer, he wants to give or wants to earn maximum satisfaction from the purchase of the good or from the consumption of the good. So now let us understand what are the factors that will affect the combination of goods that has been selected by the consumer. There are certain factors which will affect the combinations of goods selected by the consumer. So which are those factors? Let us see those. It includes the likes of the consumer, price of the good, price of other goods, income of the consumer, and policies of the government. Suppose a particular person has a good like towards a commodity, he will get maximum satisfaction from the consumption of that particular commodity. Price also. Suppose the consumer gets a good at low price, is able to get maximum satisfaction. Prices of other goods also compared to that particular goods price. Other goods means we know that there are goods which are called substitutes, which are called complementary goods. So different types of goods are there that you have learned when you have started with the first chapter, that is the basic concept, under basic concepts. So what do you mean by substitutes? Instead of a particular good, if you use some other good to get the satisfaction, that is the substitute good. For example, if milk is not there, we can use milk powder. In that case, milk powder is a substitute for milk. So prices of other good means these goods, substitutes. So compared to these goods, suppose the price of the commodity is less, then obviously the consumer gets maximum satisfaction. Similarly, income of the consumer, that also is responsible for selecting or the combination of goods. Policies of the government also affects the combination of goods consumed by the consumer. Let us see how an individual consumer's behavior can be studied. There are two different approaches to study an individual consumer's behavior. Which are those two different approaches? So those two approaches includes cardinal utility analysis, and the second one is ordinal utility analysis. So now let us see what do you mean by cardinal utility analysis. Cardinal utility analysis measures utility in terms of numbers. So what do you mean by measuring in terms of numbers? It means utility can be measured in terms of numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. What is the difference between ordinal utility analysis and the cardinal utility analysis? As I already stated, cardinal utility analysis measures the utility in terms of numbers, whereas the ordinal utility analysis, it doesn't measure the utility in terms of numbers. Instead, it gives ranks to the utility. So, the level of utility can be measured in terms of ranks under ordinal utility analysis. Before learning about two different approaches of an individual consumer, let us understand the basic concepts which is involved in the two approaches, that is utility. As we have already seen, there are two approaches, cardinal utility analysis and ordinal utility analysis. Let us understand what utility means. Utility is the want satisfying power of a commodity. A commodity has got want satisfying power. For example, I am using this particular pen. It is a commodity here now. So this pen gives me some kind of satisfaction. It means my want of writing is satisfied by this particular pen. So this pen has got my want satisfying power. That power is called utility. I might get maximum satisfaction by using this particular pen, but some other person may not get that much level of satisfaction which I got from this particular pen. What I am trying to tell is utility is subjective in nature. What do you mean by subjective in nature? It means different individuals can get different levels of utility from the same commodity. I might get maximum level of satisfaction from this particular pen, but some other person may not get that much level of satisfaction. So different individuals can get different levels of utility from the same commodity. Therefore, utility is called subjective in nature. Same way you can give the example of some other commodities like chocolates, ice cream, consumption of juice. It might give more level of satisfaction to a particular person. Consumption of juice may not give any level of satisfaction to some other person. So, utility is subjective in nature. After understanding the concept of utility, let us continue with the different measures of utility. So, what are the different measures of utility? Different measures of utility includes total utility and marginal utility. You need to understand these two measures properly in order to understand the future concepts from this particular chapter. So let us see what is total utility. So total utility is the aggregate or total utility derived by the consumer by consuming all the units of a commodity. Let us understand this with an example. I am taking the example of consumption of ice cream. You are free to take any other examples like consumption of juice, chocolates, apple, banana, etc. So you are free to take. I am taking example of ice cream. Let us imagine that I am consuming first cup of ice cream, and that first cup of ice cream is giving me the utility of 22 utiles. I am measuring the utility in terms of numbers, that is cardinal utility analysis. So 22 utiles of utility I am deriving from the consumption of first cup of ice cream. I am continuing with the second cup of ice cream, and when I consume the second cup of ice cream, that gives me little less utility, say for example 20 utiles of utility. When I add these two cups utility, I am getting total utility. In our example, first cup of ice cream gave me 22 utiles of utility, and second cup of ice cream gave me 20 utiles of utility. When I add these two, I am getting total utility of 42 utiles of utility. This is nothing but the total utility. So what is total utility? It is the aggregate utility derived by the consumer. In this case, I am the consumer. So by consuming all the units, in my example, units consumed is 2 cup of ice cream. So total utility is the total or the aggregate utility derived by the consumer by consuming all the units. Now let us understand what is marginal utility. So marginal utility is the additional utility derived by the consumer by consuming additional unit of a commodity. So what is that additional utility derived? Let us take the example of the consumption of banana. Let us understand or assume that I have consumed 4 bananas, and those 4 bananas have given me 20 utiles of utility, total utility. Now I am starting with the 5th banana's consumption, and the 5th banana is giving me the 24 utiles of total utility. It means 4 extra utiles of utility I am deriving after consuming the 5th unit of a commodity or banana in my example. It means 5th unit of banana is giving me 4 additional utility. So what is marginal utility? Marginal utility is the additional utility derived by the consumer by consuming additional utility. By consuming the additional unit of a commodity. So 4th banana gave me 20 utiles of utility, total utility. When I consumed the 5th banana, that gave me 24 utiles of total utility. That means 4 extra utiles of utility I have derived from the consumption of 5th unit of banana. That is the marginal utility. Now let us see how we can calculate these two measures of utilities by using formulas. Two measures have two formulas to calculate the utility. Let us understand one by one. To begin with, let us understand the formula to calculate total utility. As we have already learned, we can get total utility by adding marginal utilities. So what is the formula to calculate total utility? The formula is TUN is equal to MU1 plus MU2 plus MU3 till MUN. What do you mean by it? TUN. T stands for total, U stands for utility. So total utility, and here the subscript N stands for number of units. So TUN means total utility of N unit of a commodity is equal to marginal utility of one commodity plus marginal utility of second commodity plus marginal utility of third commodity till marginal utility of n commodities. If we add all the marginal utilities of all the units of the commodity, we will get the total utility. So students need to by heart this formula and understand the formula clearly, because we have certain numericals to solve where we are using these formulas to solve those numericals. Even project oriented questions are there, certain theories are there where you need to remember the total utility. If you remember this formula, you can calculate the total utility and write the table also in those theories. Let us understand how to calculate marginal utility. So marginal utility can be calculated by using the following formula, that is MUN is equal to TUN minus TUN minus 1. So marginal utility of n units is equal to total utility of n unit minus total utility of n minus 1. So n means units of commodity. Whatever subscript we are using here as n, that is nothing but the units of commodity. So in our example, we have taken the example of banana to understand the concept of marginal utility, and we have calculated the marginal utility also. So 4 bananas are giving 20 utiles of utility. Fifth banana is giving 24 utiles of utility, we have seen in our example. So how to calculate by using the formula? So here the units of bananas consumed is 5. So MU5 is equal to total utility derived from the consumption of fifth banana is 24. So TU5 minus total utility of n means 5, 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4, fourth unit of banana, and that fourth unit of banana gives 20 utiles of utility. Therefore 24 minus 20 is equal to 4. So 4 is the marginal utility derived in our example. Let us solve this table. So in this table we can see 3 columns are given. Units, first column, total utility is there in the second column, and marginal utility is there in the third column. Units and total utilities are given, whereas the marginal utilities are not given. We need to calculate it. Let us use the same formula to calculate the marginal utility. First, understand what is marginal utility. Marginal utility is the additional utility made to the total utility. Let us understand the table first. When the consumer consumes the first unit of a commodity, he gets the total utility of 12. So what is the addition made here? Here addition is not made. Therefore, the marginal utility remains the same as that of total utility, that is 12 only. So, first unit's marginal utility is 12 only, since there is no addition. Now, let us see the second unit of a commodity and its total utility. Second unit of a commodity gives total utility of 18 utiles. Now let us calculate the marginal utility by using the formula. MUN is equal to TUN minus TUN minus 1. That is the formula to calculate marginal utility. So in this case, under second unit of a commodity, MUN is, subscript N is MU2. Marginal utility of second unit of a commodity is equal to TUN, means total utility of N commodity, that is N means second unit. So total utility of second unit is 18 and minus TUN minus 1. TUN minus 1 means total utility of N is 2, 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So total utility of first unit of a commodity. So first unit of a commodity's total utility is 12. So 18 minus 12 is equal to 6. So the marginal utility of second unit of a commodity is 6. Similarly, we can do the third unit of a commodity, MUN, that is MU3, marginal utility of third unit of a commodity is equal to total utility of N commodity, that is third, 22 minus total utility of second commodity, 18, which is equal to 4. In this way, we can solve all the units of the commodities marginal utility. In this slide, you can see how we can calculate marginal utility by using the formula. I have done 2 units marginal utility calculation. A remaining calculation you have to do by using the same formula. That means marginal utility of third, fourth, fifth, sixth units calculation should be done by you only by using the same formula. You need to understand this clearly to understand the other concepts. I hope all of you understood these concepts which I have done in this video clearly. If there is any doubt regarding this concept, let me know. In the next video, I will teach you how to understand the important law of consumption, that is law of diminishing marginal utility. Thank you. Thank you for watching this.